What's up, it's Jim from On Point Samples and welcome to the fourth video in the lead series. And guess what, we're not doing leads today, we're working on chords because chords and leads obviously go together one-on-one. When you know how to make leads, you also know how to make chords. I'm going to use knowledge of the first and second episodes, so go back and watch that if you're tripping on why I'm doing certain things. Yeah, let's dive right into it. So here's the melody we've been working with. Okay, so let's get into the chords. Here's our layer, which we will call the leads, obviously. So, bam. And then let's load up Serum. In the previous video, I made a Serum instance and it looks like this. And the only thing that's enabled here is mono, gliding, 24 up and down, so we can do the pitch bend. And I have this cutoff, plug to lead kind of thing going on. And I want it to be consistent with every instance I have here of Serum. And that's why I'm using this basic preset that we already made. You can see me making it in the previous video. Anyways, for chords, you want to kind of aim for 4 or 5 layers. That's what I do personally. And what you want to have in here, first of all, is no mono, obviously, and no gliding, because we're going to hit a lot of chords. And the first thing we're going to make is a very detuned chord, but it's nothing much than just taking A and B, and the B is going to go 1 octave up, unison, and some more detune. That's already kind of solid, but these two serums are assigned to one, which has been assigned to the lead send, which has processing. So let's just put this lead around position 20 so it's not getting processed. Then it sounds like this. I'm going to assign the chords of this melody in here. So before I dive into how you want to kind of make the chords and everything is first, with these chords, I'm a big fan of having a little bit of room between every chord, because here's the difference. And then with a little bit of room, instead of, it has a little bit more bounce and tightness to it. So let's make sure first that there's room. We're also able to talk about inversions. These chords right here have already been inversed. So our first chord is a G major chord. But as you can see, it's, I think, the third inversion, because we're going to work with the D as the bass note. Then we have a G and then we have a B. So this would have been a normal G major chord without an inversion. And now we kind of have an inversion like this. So what I'm trying to say is, in your chords, you don't have to follow the basic chord progression where it's following the rule, where it's like G, minor third, perfect fifth, and then G again. In a different video, we'll go over music theory. For these chords, totally feel free to add extensions. So for example, you can add another D here, and then this F sharp could go up one more, and then this B could also hit this one here, or maybe the G could hit this one here. And this will result in a different sound for all these chords. And we had this at first. Right? So this allows you to get a lot more kind of like variations in your chords, which just helps a lot, and I like to do this. So first, let's just spice up this loop, which you should do as well, by just giving more room to the melody so it hits more notes. So this D is going to go up as well, and then this stuff is going to go up as well. This, I think we're aiming for D, yeah. So I'm kind of putting this just an octave up. It's nothing special. You see the F sharp here and the F sharp here. Let's remove these high notes, and let's also duplicate these ones. So C sharp. Now we have this. And because we have lower notes and higher notes here, and then it's also being accentuated by having A low and B high, 1 octave up, it's hitting so many notes, which makes it a very full chord. And we also have the 16/16 voicing, of course. So anyways, this is our first thing that you want to focus on when you're making these chords. So this is also going to be our first chord. And then I'm always doing this, right? A very basic detuned chord. Then I'm making another detuned chord, which is just going to have a little bit less detune, or a lot, you know, like this. Cool, so now together. Most computers are probably already like tripping with CPU, but I have a good CPU. Otherwise, these tutorials are literally unrecordable. Here are our first chords, right? Now, let's duplicate one more, because we're going to go for our third chord. In this case, we're going to aim for our main chaos chord. And this is one technique that I absolutely love in Serum. It's very simple. First, we're going to assign alpha 1 on the BPM, like this, high rate, to the fine tune. No mono, by the way. Then the most important trick here is mod source chaos 1 and just assign chaos 1, find it, rate goes up, and then in the matrix just take down right here. And now finally do the same thing for oscillator B, so fine tune a mod source chaos 1, put it up 1 octave, and then in the matrix maybe take this down slightly less. And now we're gonna add the detune. And maybe a little bit more rate right here and a bit more here. This is such a wide chord with so much detune and power. I swear this is the best way to get most out of Serum, I guess. So now we have 3 chords. And we already have something very usable. And the final thing I want to add in here is just one more chord. We have our very basic detune layer, another detune layer like this, and then one main chaos chord, kind of like this. You'll find different options as well when you're using Viper or Dune or Spire. Different plugins have different ways to make cool chords, but you want one very big chaos chord, kind of like this. So our 4th chord could be, or like the 4th preset, you can choose some different things. So one that I really like, for example, is a distorted chord. So first, let's disable the filter here. Let's get rid of that pluck to lead kind thing, because we want, as I shown in the previous video, you want this cutoff thing to go on after the distortion, because you're going to distort the sound and then it's unusable. So envelope 2 goes to the cutoff, and then this macro goes to the cutoff as well. Automation clip, and this one goes to the mix. Cool, so now we have that done. Let's add some tube distortion. As you can hear, this results in a distorted chord. So I can take down the filter before the distortion and we get different tones because we're hitting different parts of the mid-range. This gives that very nice sound, I guess around 500 Hz range. Now, different distorting modes give different results, and tube is very analog maybe, but we can try diode too. That's cool. Stomp box is very nice as well. Let's do tape saturation, but with more drive. Sounds very nice and analog. So this is one chord. Now, because we removed some highs here, we can reintroduce them right here as well with the gain boost on the highs. And now you can simply add this to your layer and we can mix it later, but that's one character chord you could go for. But that's just one. I'm just saving it here. I'm just going to make another chord because why not? Let's put that right here. So instead of having that main chord next to the detuned and chaos chords, we can also make this one instead of the distorted chord. And this one, I'm trying to aim for a very detuned sound, but not too much. And it's kind of squeezing together with very low detune. And then on top of this, we're going to add a chorus with a higher range. And we can add some LFO on a very fast rate or something like this to the fine tune like this. And we can add some attack with the compression. I kind of want to call this a organ chord or something, but there's variations you can make. FM it if you want. I think it might be nice to have this in the layer regardless, but yeah. So we have this one and maybe we can duplicate it one more time and find different waveforms that work. So for example, it's very thin. Well, we have variation. So as you can see, it's just me going around and playing a lot with these chords and doing whatever, see if it fits. But basically, detuned, chaos chord, and then we have our distorted chord, and we have our organ chord or something, you know? So those are all chords you can go for. And now I want to show you one more thing, which is a decision you can make. I'd say most of these chords need to be consistent in the following thing. You can obviously add an attack. So see how this sounds? Pretty cool, but we can add that pitch up effect. So LFO2 goes to the global master tune, and then we can go up 1 octave with 19, and make sure you put it on envelope. And it sounds like that. If you're trying to do this, I'd say put it on every chord or most of the chords. Otherwise, it will sound a little bit weird on the background. But this is a cool thing to do in your chords and go for, like every chord goes up or every chord goes down. You don't have to do this. The down effect, I guess, doesn't need to happen with every chord. The up effect does need to happen, but you know. And it adds a little bit of an attack in the beginning. But in this case, I'm just going to keep this whole thing neutral and nothing going on, just no pitching up and whatever. Again, we're going to open up the layer, and in this layer, we're assigning all the chords like this, the melody, and we're going to select all these, except for that distorted. Except for this one, because this is our distorted layer. I don't necessarily want to have this inside, so red, whatever, not using this. Select all of these, set children. Let's reset all these because I thought they were too loud, and we're gonna mix it properly right now. So select all your instances after renaming them, select them all, and let's drag them into the mixer right next to our lead send. Take them all down, give them a color, and assign them to one channel like this. And we're gonna call this chords. In here, make it one color, and bam. Now in this, it sounds like that. I kind of want to give priority to that main chaos chord. And these two are just here to fill it up. And as you can see, it's again very important that these kind of are all included. One chord, two, final, a very big detuned layer right now. And then our kind of organ chord, this one too. And then we have chord 6, which is nothing. I guess we don't even need to include this. So let's select only those instances, and there you go. So for the processing in here, it's literally going to be the exact same as the lead processing, which is going to be an EQ with the bass cut. Don't cut out all the bass. Then we're going to add a fruity compressor, but I want to use C-Late2A. But anyways, fruity compressor around -9 because it's hitting that, and then we just pull it down with a ratio of 4. And I'd like to add a C-Late2A instead, so don't have too much peak reduction, otherwise it's going to really sound clicky, and I want the chords to not punch through too much, you know, it needs to be on the low end slightly. Inflator on top of this, bam. And then finally, I like to add a dynamic EQ and kind of a corrective EQ to the final tweaks, and maybe get this down if needed, then add a little bit more highs or remove some highs if needed. And then it sounds like this. And let's see what happens if we include all our leads. One thing that's right now, and we'll get back into this in detail when we're trying to wrap everything up, but what I really hear is this one lead that's just annoying, and that's this one. And that's because it leaves a little bit of detune at the end, and that's because we literally added detune here. And this adds some artifacts at the end, and the distortion brings them out, which makes it a longer lead, as if it has a little bit of release right here. We don't want that, so let's get rid of the dimension. And right now we're just looking for a balance between the two. That makes the leads pop, but also the chords, and that's kind of it. So now leads and chords go together into one channel. This is going to be called a total send, and let's make it white or something. And then again, just literally get rid of the bass one more time. And I like to add an inflator again, so we make sure it stays at 0 dB. As you can hear, this already sounds pretty cool, and you'll see how this really starts to pop if we add some reverb, delay, and then the kick, like the total processing. You'll see how this really comes to life very soon. So in the next video, let's dive into the reverb and delay, and then you'll have a very solid understanding. The cool thing right now already is that if you really followed those previous videos, you'll see that you can apply all these different techniques, like going up and down, changing the detune and the blends and these FMs and different leads, distortion, filter distortions. If you have this setup right here that you have with the leads and then the chords and then the processing on it, you can see that you can change individual elements of this layer and completely and properly change the layer so that it actually sounds really good again. So thanks for watching. Download everything, like all these packs here, right? Everything. You get it for free on our website. Just download it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.